Good morning. This message is for you current and future entrepreneurs. I want to discuss briefly conflict resolution and why it's a skill that you're going to have to learn, and it really doesn't come natural. I'm going to give you a couple reasons why. Well, A, when you're managing another adult, it's a little bit difficult to correct them because you're thinking in your mind, they're not a kid. Why do I have to tell them that? Well, the reason why you have to tell them the correction is a lot of times what they're doing is innocent. And if they're doing opposite of what you're wanting them to do, it's not their fault. You have to communicate that. So a lot of times, an individual will be doing a behavior or habit that, let's say, the supervisor isn't addressing, and over time the supervisor gets more and more frustrated, and then that builds, and then the reality is a silo's been created almost in that relationship, and it's got to come down, and that's even more difficult. So when you're dealing with conflict resolution, a couple things you want to remember. You want to deal with it immediately, and usually 9 times out of 10, if it's something that is really kind of just driving you nuts, you need to address it face to face, not through a text, not through an email. I'm not saying every situation, but the situations to you, if you're managing somebody, if it's, if this situation is a big deal, well, that person needs to understand it and they need to know why. And to do that, you have to have a conversation. And a lot of times also, when you're doing conflict resolution, you have to remember a couple rules of life. And it amazes me, a lot of people don't get this. First of all, it's normal. Even for me, I do it. If someone's trying to criticize me, it's a natural thing to kind of lean back and go, what? So you have to understand, if you're leading the conflict resolution, if you're bringing that to the table, understand the other recipient is going to be on edge right off the get-go. So you need to diffuse that. You have to figure a way to open their mind so they can understand and see what you're asking of them, or to understand why you're trying to modify or change the behavior, as opposed to just saying, I'm the boss, this is the way it goes. Because you know what that does? The person might follow you because, you're their supervisor and they don't have a choice. But they do have a choice. They can leave, or they can, in my opinion, hurt the morale. And they can force your hand. So you want to avoid those two things. You truly, in conflict resolution, you want the recipient to understand why you're discussing the subject that you're discussing. And to do that, you have to let the other person speak. And you have to be humble and understand that they might bring up a couple things that might change your opinion or might make you reflect. And that's okay. As long as dignity, courtesy, and respect is in the equation, nothing should be off topic or nothing should be out of bounds. I just want to leave that message with you. Have an awesome Wednesday. Stay motivated.